As some people are organizing a special event coming up, the Enugu Photo Festival, which will be featuring the shades of coal, revisiting time, a trip back to the past to remember just how we got here. Joining us to tell us about this event is Mrs. Chidera Sam Eze. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. You are the curator of the photo festival coming up, and I'm sure it's going to be quite exciting. Thank you for bringing our time to be here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It most certainly will.
All right. So tell us, the shades of coal. Tell us about the different shades of coal and what we should be expecting.
Okay, so coal plays a huge part in the history of Enugu, in the development and socially and economically and otherwise. So when coal was discovered here, it drew a lot of people into Enugu, and Enugu grew as a township and quickly became a cosmopolitan town. And eventually, things started growing from there. There was the railway corporation was open, and they laid tracks from here all the way to Port Harcourt, which brought about trade, because they also had to ship the coal straight from the mines down to the sea to export internationally. So all these things actually kind of grew Enugu to what it is today. Yeah.
All right.
And then the regions around the mines, the settlements around the mines where the coal miners had to leave so that they could get to work, it eventually grew into the city that we have today.
Favor?
Yeah. Wow. So, when we hear things like this, I always wonder, how do you now make an event out of it? How do you make an exhibition out of it? So what's the plan for the event? What's the plan for the exhibition?
Okay, so because this is part of our history, what we have done is to revisit this history, like the theme says. So we're going back in time. And in doing that, what did we do? We went to these communities like Coal Camp, River Valley, to go back to trace the beginning, to ask questions of the communities, to kind of see what happened then and relate it with the present. So we're kind of bridging the gap using photography to tell this story, or rather to retell this story of coal in Enugu State. Yeah. So we went around these communities to see how close they were to the hills, because that's where the mines are. And then you can actually see, because the Europeans were staying on top of the hill, where it was called the European quarters then. And then the miners, or the workers, were staying at the foot of the hill. So they would go to work and back and forth. So when more people started coming into Enugu, this is like Coal Camp up top. This is like River Valley popped up because they had to spread, and then they started coming down into town. And if you actually stand on the hills around there, you can get a whole view of Enugu from there. So you can just see it.
I see this event is holding at the National Museum of Unity in Enugu. It leads me to ask, would you say that we have been able to, as a country, because this is a federal, of course, museum, how can we say that as a country we've been able to manage, these are relics, these are our historical relics? What would you say about this? Because there was a time that we covered a report on National Museum of Unity, and they were trying to construct some other structures at the back of it. Some shanties were destroyed. So there was this feeling that the land was being sold off for profit. Though we understand that the museum still sits there in the center, but plots around it, they became like real concern for people that thought that this was actually going to be given out to private developers, so to speak, on a national treasure such as that. So how would you rate how we have been able to preserve these structures as a country? And your thoughts on the museum as a whole, having the Museum of Unity there in the center, but plots of land around it which appear to be commercialized, if we can put it that way.
So to say the truth, it is a contradiction, because as custodians of culture and history, there should be really strict measures around properties like this. And yes, you can't really hide the fact that there are things around the museum that are not supposed to be there. But all the same, it doesn't mean that they aren't carrying out the work. Now, I can't say for sure what's happened or what's in the background of why there are properties surrounding the museum, but I can still tell you that when you go to the museum, you can still see that they are working hard to preserve the cultural artifacts and everything that has to do with Nigerian history in it. Yeah.
All right.
So when is this event?
It's tomorrow, Friday, 2 p.m. Yes.
So you should get ready, 2 p.m.
Yes.
Tomorrow, Friday. So the side attractions, I'm seeing exhibitions, talks, performances, music, screenings, and portfolio reviews. Tell us about the portfolio reviews.
Okay, so usually, if you're going to have a festival like this celebrating photography, visual arts, visual language, there should also be a form of measure taken to help improve the skills of these visual artists, these photographers. So we have professionals or people who are better at it in the game, people who are good, who come to teach us how to be better, how to organize ourselves better, and to look at our images, the images that we've created over time, and to help us access them and see where we can work better and work on our craft.
All right. Are you engaging any member of the mining community in Enugu? Would you
yes.
have retired miners present?
Yes, definitely. It is because of them. This whole festival centers around celebrating the 75 years of the Iva Valley Coal Miners Massacre, which led to, it played a huge role in the independence that we have today in Nigeria, actually. So yes, the coal miners are definitely the principal in this. They are going to be the ones that are taking the lead, because on the 18th of November, that is the actual day of the commemoration. So this is like a start of the journey for the whole celebration of coal miners and the coal mining history of Enugu.
All right. For people who want to attend this photo festival, what do you have to say to them? This is like your appeal now to get them to attend and be a part of it.
Okay, so this festival has, we have an exhibition that's opening tomorrow. And it's like a journey taking you from the past into the present. So you're going to be seeing some images culled from the archives, and then images that we as the photo community have taken around these communities that we've been to. And then you can see what we have presented from our lenses. So it's going to be very appealing, interesting, probably going to have some questions answered, and also, ask questions of yourself as well.
What's the damage? Think deeply.
There are no damages.
How much is it going to damage our wallet?
Oh, no, not. It's free to, come tomorrow. But of course, every other day after tomorrow, when you want to visit the museum, you have to pay a fee for that. But it's no damage at all. It's something
well, some people will find it major. You can just tell us the rough estimate.
I can tell you for sure that it's something that's
okay. So you have a fee for the museum, but the exhibition part is free.
For tomorrow, if you're visiting tomorrow for the opening, everyone is free to come in. After tomorrow, when you want to access the museum, you have to pay for it. And the truth is, this is also a way to bring people to visit the museum so they can see what's in there, because there is a lot to see. Honestly.
All right. Thank you so much for shedding light on this, Mrs. Chidera Sameze. So you know where to be tomorrow at 2 p.m. The National Museum of Unity for the Enugu Photo Festival, where you'll be previewing exhibitions on the shades of coal. You might also see some of our miners there, retired miners perhaps, and people who are very passionate about mining, and you can ask them those questions that you probably want to ask. Lots of controversies around mining. Should it continue? Is it something that should be left behind? Environmental threats, positives to the economy. You might have interactions with these miners and actually gain insight on that while you are surrounded by these exhibitions. Thank you once again for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
And I wish you great success.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
at the
so
event.
much.